people coming up next. That's the news right there. So yeah, Ashley Babbitt can suck it. She doesn't deserve that funeral. I don't feel bad for saying that shit at all. You're not gonna gaslight me and get the military off the streets of DC. We don't want to see it. You're playing into the hands of an authoritarian nut job, and I always knew it. I always knew the right would do it. Coming up next, y'all know it. Gun control. Republicans, y'all gonna be running to turn your guns in. It's gonna be so funny to see. I'm calling it now. You're gonna turn your back on the Second Amendment within a year. I'm out. Peace. And welcome back. It is that time of the week. It's Military Mondays. I'm comedian Chris Allen, and this is Chair Force Stories. This week, two topics to talk about. They're probably going to ruffle some feathers, but I got to get it out there. This is what I'm here for. If you get mad, then so be it. One, some feathers, but I got to get it out there. This is what I'm here for. If you get mad, then so be it. One, Ashli Babbitt is receiving full honors funeral from the Air Force. I think that's absolutely disgusting. Ashli Babbitt, yes, the January 6th insurrectionist domestic terrorist is getting a full military burial, honors, all that shit. I think it's so disgusting, especially right now when the Air Force is kicking out trans people who have served almost 2 decades with great service records. Other than their choice of lifestyle, there's no reason for this to happen. These people are getting kicked out, given basically nothing compared to a retirement. They were told they could retire, and then they pulled the rug from underneath them and go, oh, you know what? Sorry, that's not going to happen. After they were told everything they were getting, now they're just being kicked to the curb. But now you want to give this woman full honors and $5 million because you, Donald Trump, lied about the election being stolen? This woman is not a hero. She's not a victim. She does not deserve this shit. And it's just so funny to me. All these right wing, back to blue people, y'all love cops, but for some reason, January 6th is completely different. They beat the shit out of cops. Cops died. Okay? Some have had to retire. They got mental problems because of the shit they went through. Y'all don't give a shit about them, all because this man is pushing your political beliefs. And you don't want to reconcile the fact that you're being lied to in your own mind. So you're like, oh, Ashley Babbitt was a hero. She was not. She was not. Any other time, you support the police brutalizing people and in times murdering people. Say, hey, you should have complied. Things happen. Fuck around and find out. But for some reason, when it's Ashley Babbitt, just an innocent white woman who was brutally killed by the mean police. And that just shows you how quickly Trump supporters will turn on the people that they say they support so much. As long as they're hurting brown and black people, keep doing your thing. We love you. You're the best. I'm going to put a back to blue sticker on my car. I love cops. But the moment a Republican does some shit wrong and they get popped, oh, bad. Unarmed white woman shot. Cops are pieces of shit. That's what's crazy. And all you cops out there, you think you MAGA supporters, the moment it comes to it, he's going to tell the people to turn on you, and you're going to learn quickly how much they do not give a fuck about you. Y'all going to be the first ones to get it. When it comes down to it, they MAGA does not fuck with the police. They don't, as you saw on January 6th. This woman knew exactly what she was doing, and look, she had the right to believe what she wants politically. You can do that as a service member. Yeah. We all know that most of the military are Republicans, conservative people. We already know that. That's no secret. She could be a Trump fan all day. That's her right as an American. But what you can't do is participate in demonstrations and shit like this. She was told several times, "Hey, don't go in there." You tried to climb through the window. You got shot. Any other person, if that was anybody else, y'all would be like, "Hey, that's a fuck around and find out moment." We all know what the difference is. We all know what the difference is. $5 million. Insane. I've seen So many people in my 2 decades get kicked out for making simple mistakes. DUI is pretty serious, but made the mistake of drinking and driving. And from the time they got their DUI to the time it was time for them to reenlist, the military was going through what they call like a rift. They were trying to reduce their numbers, and they would go through people's records and go, "Hey, we need to find something to kind of discriminate people from reenlisting." And this particular time, they were looking at people's anybody with a DUI, no matter how well they were doing. Other than that, they're gone. I know a couple of people like that gone. Simple mistake, gone. Oh, you happen to get an Article 15, a reduction in rank in the last couple of years. It's time to riff. You're gone. Sorry. We see that you've been working towards getting that strike back, or you got that strike back, and you're doing a lot better. But you're gone. Sorry, nothing we can do. And we all doing with great intentions of serving our country. And you get a bad supervisor. You go to a shop where people don't like you. You can get kicked out. I knew first sergeants that love kicking people out for not being able to adjust to the military lifestyle, all types of things, from honorable to dishonorable discharges. I've seen all of them. But the ones that really suck is when you see good people make a mistake and then they can no longer serve in any capacity. It's like, yeah, but this shit right here, man. See, come on. No, I just, it really just, it blows my mind that people even fix their lips to support her. It's it's so it's mind blowing to me. It really is. Like, people can clearly see when racial tension gets out of control, property is destroyed, riots happen, everybody's mad, things get damaged, things are vandalized, people get hurt, everybody's upset. But for some reason, January 6th, it these same people who get upset about a chair getting uh, turned over, windows getting broken. You just, they're just so distraught at the destruction and the vandalism and property being destroyed, and they're just so hurt by it. But for some reason, January 6th was, well, just people are just disenfranchised, and there's the frustration just boiled over, but it really wasn't a big deal. It's like, yo, they shat on things, pissed on stuff, vandalized. They were looking to kill Mike Pence and whoever they could get their hands on. But hey, not a big deal. It only lasted so many minutes. The dollar figure as far as damage goes doesn't even compare to what happened in city X, Y, and Z. But people are frustrated, and people should be allowed to have let their frustrations out. This is the kind of thing that happens when people aren't listened to. It's like you can just justify that shit. It's not that big of a deal. There were no real cops hurt. That guy was fat and out of shape. He died the next day. And please, 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 all the excuses. The party of personal responsibility, they never take responsibility for anything. It's always somebody else's fault. What about this person? Well, when they did it, it was okay. This person, how come they can get away with it? It's just like, yo, you're the one that calls yourself the moral compass of America. You're the ones saying that you're so responsible, you're so mature, you're so self-aware. Everybody else is just irresponsible. They're dumb. No one wants to take responsibility for themselves. Everybody else is entitled, but we're the adults. That's what Republicans say. We're the adults here. We take responsibility. Take responsibility for what you did. Yeah, it was fucked up. We shouldn't have done that. Yeah, that was shitty. Yeah, we kind of just literally went against every single thing that we said that we stood for. Yeah, we don't really care about those Popeyes getting burned down, or Target getting ransacked. It's just to make us feel good. Because when we do it, we're gonna use those as the reasons, and as examples as to why it's okay for us to do it. Even though we didn't like it when they did it, it's okay for us to do it because they did it. Very mature, very adult. Way to take responsibility for what you did. But I get it. They have to lie to themselves. It's the cognitive dissonance. They have to lie to themselves. If they're really truthful about this whole thing, their brains would explode. It would. There's so much conflicting doctrine going on. So much. Any other time, they can always justify cops beating the shit, brutalizing people, and even murdering people. Hey, you shouldn't have went in there. You shouldn't have did this. You should have complied. Well, it looked like that. I thought, hmm. But we got it on video, clear as day, with a violent mob inside the Capitol where she shouldn't have been. They're trying to break through a door. They said, stop, stop, stop. We will shoot. She tries to go through the window and get shot. Bam. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't get I don't get it. Hopefully I get my sarcasm, but I have no idea what the difference is. I don't know. I also would like to talk about DC and the Guard. Now they're talking about trying to move these forces uh, and these type of people. Why I say that? They want to move. They want to try and do this in different cities. And Trump was saying Chicago is next. I don't want to do this. Let's talk about the Guard in DC. I'm not a fan. That's not what the Guard is for. Okay. I get it. The Guard gets called in at times when there's like a national emergency and all that kind of stuff, but this is not a national emergency. And I understand DC is a different animal, it's a different beast. It's not really like it's not a state. It's just it's got a weird status as far as what it is. So Trump can kind of do whatever he wants when it comes to like moving in the Guard and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not even gonna get into like that. He can do what he wants. That's completely fine. But I don't think it's a good idea to have untrained law enforcement uh, trying to control what goes on in the city. I mean, a show of force, okay, you can only do so much. You know, I guess they're armed now, but okay, you got a bunch of unarmed guard guys around the city. What can they really do? If somebody has a gun or somebody's robbing somebody, now they're susceptible to being robbed as well. Your uniform is not going to save you if you don't have a weapon. And also, too, like, who do y'all think the Guard is? It's just a bunch of regular people. People who work in offices, they work at the mall, they're in school. Yes, you might have a couple doctors, some cops here and there, but for the most part, they're just regular people. They're not cops. They're not in law enforcement. So you just want to send untrained people into these neighborhoods that need help to do what? To do what? Just stand around? Just be there? Because like I said, if something violent goes on, they're not armed. What can they really do other than possibly become a victim themselves? And now you want to arm these really untrained people, put them in these neighborhoods that a lot of them are probably afraid to be in themselves. I hear people saying like, "Well, there was no crime in D.C." Okay, say it works and there's no crime in DC and they leave 1,000 armed, they leave 1,000 guardsmen out there. So what do we do if and when crime does occur? Because it's gonna happen again. Somebody's gonna break the law somewhere. And what they're gonna say is, oh, I guess we need more troops. It didn't work. We had 1,000. Listen in 2,000. Listen in 3,000. Then something else said, oh, now we need more, but now we need to arm them. Now you're gonna have 3, 5, 6, 7, 8,000 armed guardsmen or military members who are not trained on law enforcement, roaming the streets with with M4s. Do you want that? Do you need that? Do you need these people patrolling our neighborhoods? People trying to have a good time. You know, people get loud, having fun, and then fucking Airman Johnny from goddamn Kansas is nervous to be in this neighborhood in Chicago, and he got an M4 and authority to do what he want to do. How do you think that's going to turn out? Not very good. Not very good. And let me tell you this too. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm not calling a lot of people in the military racist, but there's enough of them in all the branches. There was just some kid on social media posting pictures. I want to say he was a Marine at the 29 Palms, basically saying he couldn't wait to get into these cities to show people what Marines can do. And let me tell you, man, me being in for 20 years, I've had numerous conversations with a lot of people. And there's a lot of these dudes who couldn't wait, can't wait to get into these neighborhoods to start quote unquote policing it. There's a lot of these dudes, man. They feel like everybody in those neighborhoods are worthless. They're animals. They're drug dealers. They don't work. They're lazy. That's how they feel. They feel like, hey, burn it all down. Get rid of all of them. Get rid of all of them. Exterminate. Tear it all down. That's how they feel because they have no connection to the people or those neighborhoods. They see crime and go, yo, get rid of them all of them. They're all disgusting, on the system, lazy, don't want to do nothing, living off the government. That's how a lot of these motherfuckers feel. And you want these people in the neighborhoods? Is this who you want? A lot of us already feel this way about police officers, and they have the right training. And that's not even good enough for most of these police forces across the country. So you want to put somebody who's been less vetted and less training in the neighborhood with even bigger weapons and a bigger fucking ego who knows even less than the police on the street? Tell me how that's not a disaster. And I'll say this, I'm all for it if you want to put these same people in suburban neighborhoods. I will be all for it then. So if you over here screaming about, yeah, we got to put these military folks in the hood, let's put them in the suburbs and see how long that shit lasts. Let's put an MRAP on one of these white dudes' front lawn. Let's leave Humvees out on the street. Let's have them patrolling these nice, safe white neighborhoods and see how quickly they get kicked the fuck up out of there. When you got people patrolling the streets all nights, all hours of the day, all hours of the night, making noise and shit like that, going through your shit, stopping you, asking you for your ID. You know, you can forget that 5 a.m. rum. Hey, what are you doing out here running at 5 a.m.? Let's see your ID. You think some suburban white dude that's middle management or upper management at his job, you think he's gonna put up with that shit? Absolutely not. But those same people will love seeing it on the news. They'll love to see the police and the military in black neighborhoods and brown neighborhoods having people push up against the wall, frisking people. That's law and order to them. But let them do that shit in their neighborhood. Man, they'll get that shit shut down so fucking fast. We don't need it. Once we've already opened Pandora's box in DC. I love DC, and I'm not saying that there's not a problem. I've known people that's have their cars broken into numerous times. I had a friend who's physically handicapped or disabled. They whooped his ass. That shit made me so mad. Like, yo, you see this dude cannot defend himself, but you're gonna beat him up and take his phone. He can barely get around, man. But does that mean call in the National Guard? There's no middle ground with these people. And before Trump even said anything, they didn't even really complain about DC. Now you got Stephen Miller getting on TV. It's a war zone. You can't walk around. That's not even the case. That's not even the case. Not even the case. And I'm loving what Governor Newsom is doing, how he's mocking Trump. And he's right. These red states have the worst crime. Why are you not going into Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana? Why are you not going into these states and in these cities? Why? We know why. Because white crime ain't crime. It's just entertainment. When white people kill each other, guess what you get? You get a Netflix special. Okay? They get to show that guy with his family, how much he loved them. Even though he killed all four of them, they're still gonna give you a nice thumbnail. All right, of y'all having a great time, a wedding picture, y'all you holding the kids, even though you drove them all off of a cliff and acted like you had no idea what was going on. But black people breaking into a Target, frontline news on Fox. Got to be careful going to Target because Target's a Target. But coming out in September, Billy Johnson and the heartbreak murders. He killed all four of his kids and his wife because he got caught cheating on his wife at the gym. But the dangers of going to Target and how to protect yourself around black people coming up next. That's the news right there. So yeah, Ashli Babbitt can suck it. She doesn't deserve that funeral. I don't feel bad for saying that shit at all. You're not gonna gaslight me and get the military off the streets of DC. We don't want to see it. You're playing into the hands of an authoritarian nut job. And I always knew it. I always knew the right would do it. Coming up next, y'all know it. Gun control. Republicans, y'all gonna be running to turn your guns in. It's gonna be so funny to see. I'm calling it now. You're gonna turn your back on the Second Amendment within a year. I'm out. Peace.